Right, let's head into the man cave. And man, it's hard to take a good look around here, but okay, let's get into the Marvel stuff. So here we have Punisher, Daredevil, Spidey, $20.99. I love this display here. So these two are Iron Studios. Got the Iron Studios Daredevil, which I did a review on already. I'll just quickly show him again. Got him propped up a little bit to make him look like he's a bit higher. Nice portrait. Got Iron Studios Punisher, which is a bit of a newer acquisition for me. I do have the Sideshow Punisher as well, and I like him. I like that Sideshow Punisher. He's a new sort of kind of a stylized version of Punisher, and there's some things I don't like as much about him, but I really did like that skull portrait that he had, where kind of the face paint, the skull face paint, but it definitely did not look as good as it did in the prototype, and it definitely doesn't go as well with the Iron Studios Daredevil that this kind of more comic book, true to the comic version of Frank Castle does. And you know, I ended up getting this. I ordered them through somebody on eBay, and I thought I'll take a look at the two together and I'll see which one I like more. And it's very, very clear that when I put the two beside each other, this is the Punisher that I grew up with. This looks really, really nice. If you guys want a review of him, he's an older piece now, but if you do want a review of this, or if you want me to do a comparison before I sell the other one, let me know in the comments, and I'll do that. I'll do a comparison of these two Punishers. But that's great. And then the Prime 1 Spidey, $20.99, I still think is the best version. I know XM did one. I think this is better. I love it. Really awesome, dynamic pose. Looks like he's kind of ready for action. Cool sort of futuristic base with the steam coming up. I really like this piece. I like the detail in the outfit itself, the patterns and textures, and the variation. Love it. I love this section. Now, when you first come into the room, this is what you see. My Happy Bust, which is a really impressive piece. It just commands so much attention, this bust. When people come in this room, obviously it's the first thing you see, but everyone gravitates towards this. Busts really do have something special about them if it's a nice bust, and I think that this is something. I was originally going to sell it just because it, you know, the rest of my stuff's all 1/3 when it comes to Spidey, but I think it really actually makes a nice centerpiece, so I'm going to hold on to him. And we have a Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane, sort of a book with a number of the kind of more famous comic stories in there. This is the Iron Studio Spider-Man, earlier Iron Studios days, but I think before they were starting to really find their stride. But I still think that this pose for Spider-Man is the best in 1/4. I love it. It's dynamic. He's showing his flexibility. When I used to draw Spider-Man as a kid, this is how I would draw him, in these sort of super flexible, impossible for a human to probably get this pose or poses. The base, it is ambitious. It is cool in that, you know, you got Green Goblin's lantern, you got Doc Ock in the back there. It says Oscorp. Incorporates a bunch of the villains, but it is a piece of shit when it comes to build quality. Like, this is so flimsy, it's like plasticky, and it's broken a number of times. This, if you just even push on it, it'll fall off. Really poor build quality, but if you don't look too closely and you don't touch it, still is a really impressive looking piece. And then we've got one of my favorite XM Studios pieces. Again, in my opinion, a very underrated piece, Black Cat by XM. Really, well, I've said it in the review. If you want to see the full review, just have a look on my site or on my YouTube page. But it's just unique. It's very unique. And I think it's really nice, and it's a nice, it adds some nice interest to this Spider-Man section here. I do have a Spider-Gwen coming, a custom Spider-Gwen. I think I'll probably try and fit her in there as well. So now let's move down to my, oh, his hand is off. Let's try and put that back on. There we go. Okay. Now the Spidey Villains area. So we've got Carnage, Sideshow Carnage. I still think this Carnage is good. I know a lot of people don't like it. The base is kind of gross. This just looks like clay. It looks kind of unfinished. But he's dynamic. I think the portrait is nice. I did pre-order the new Sideshow Carnage though. I did say Carnage before, right? Yeah. Anyways, I ordered the new Sideshow Carnage because I do think it's better, and I do like the deeper red, but I do not mind the fact that this Carnage is a little bit lighter red, because when you pair him with Spider-Man, it adds some variation. Yeah, I still think it's a good statue. Obviously, XM Venom, still sort of the gold standard for Venom pieces, I think, to a lot of people. 1/4 scale Venoms. I think this is a little bit underrated. I think it got shit on a lot, and I think it's better than people say. I think that this is not as good as people say. I still think he's really impressive, and he's got a number of different portraits and swap outs, which is cool. I like this. I like the portrait that has Eddie Brock's face coming out of it, but I left this one because it looks better when he's down low. When you're looking from up here, you can't really see Eddie Brock's face. It's kind of facing downwards. So I think this sort of more Todd McFarlane style portrait looks better, but I'm still waiting for a better Venom. This is big. He's big and beefy. You can't tell in the video, but he's a very, very big statue. But some of the musculature just to me looks a little bit weird, like that. I don't know. I think that I'm still waiting for a better Venom. I think that the new Venom that Sideshow announced, I kind of do like the look of him. I don't know how big he's actually going to be, but if he's really big and imposing, I might end up getting that. I don't like the base so much, but I like the look of, where he looks looks more. It's the Marvel vs. Capcom version of his portrait, where his jaw's jutting out well beyond his the rest of his face. I like that. I dig that. I think it's really cool. It makes him look more beast-like. So I might end up getting that Sideshow piece. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So now we've got Mysterio by XM. A really, really beautiful piece. Just as a piece of art, I think it's beautiful. Like it's just a really great pose that he's in, and then the movement of the smoke coming up around him. I think this is another really underrated piece. I think you can still buy this at like retail value and or retail cost, and I think that this should, in my opinion, this should go for a lot more. Maybe it's just because the character's not as popular, but man, look at that really cool portrait where you can see the skull, just the hint of the skull faintly through the sort of like fishbowl helmet. I love this. Mysterio is not one of my favorite Spidey villains, but this statue looks so cool that I probably am not going to get rid of him anytime soon. I don't know why, but Venom just doesn't look as big in camera as he does in real life. Anyways, I'm having a hard time capturing it, but he's pretty imposing. Okay, so now I'll move to my other not so, how do I describe this? Another block or another display area that I'm not that proud of. I got rid of most of my X-Men line because I replaced them all with the Sentinel dioramas that I will show later in the video. What I kept was this. So let's start down here because I don't like this that much. That's what's kind of tucked away behind my desk. Sideshow Psylocke. This is not the Psylocke that I know and love. To be fair, that I've seen, no studio has nailed Psylocke yet, though. I don't like the new XM one at all. There's one of the portraits for Betty that actually looks pretty nice. She looks pretty, but it's like the North American, I think she was British, or I can't remember now, but the North American version of her portrait. I want a Jim Lee Asian Psylocke. Is that too much to ask for? Nobody has done it or can do it. I don't know what it is, but until that happens, I'm not going to be happy, because Psylocke was my favorite female X-Man, and nobody's been able to get that Jim Lee look, and I just don't get it. So until that, I'm not going to be happy, and this, I guess, will just suffice as a placeholder. We've got my Emma that I sent her portrait away for to have repainted. Again, that portrait is like light years better than what it used to be, and because of that, I'll probably always hold on to this statue. It's not the best statue, but it's sexy. It's the version of her I like, and definitely the portrait is unique and much better than it used to be. And now we've got Professor X. I did a review on him. The more I look at him, the more I just think, meh. If you have a whole X-Men lineup, then you should have this statue, because he completes it, and he is sort of the leader of the X-Men, and it's a well done statue. Don't get me wrong, I just think it's boring. I don't think that anything in this case or this display cabinet really stands out as like as something being interesting enough to keep your attention. That's why I'm gonna have to do something about this. I'll probably sell him. I'll sell her definitely once I get a better version. Her I'll keep, but I need to do something else here. If you have suggestions, please let me know. So here are my 3 favorite X-Men dudes, and that's why I kept them, even though I got rid of the rest of the line. So we've got XM, Cyclops, really nice version of him. Good portrait, good pose. I do have the swap out where he's kind of shooting his beam up into the air or screaming into the air. I don't like it. I think that the body looks contorted in a weird way in that version. So I have this one here, but he looks good. Got Brown Wolvie, XM, really nice. There are some things that I'm not as much of a fan of, but overall, I think this is a beautiful piece. The base is really nice with this Japanese roofing, however you say it. Yeah, all in all, I think this is a really great Wolverine piece. I put his 2 katanas down here, and the samurai helmet down at this base. He's kind of propped up, but I put this fabric here just to mask the things that they're propped up on, just to kind of fill out the space better. And then we've got Gambit, the Sideshow Gambit, which I believe is better than the XM Gambit. Maybe not in terms of detail. I think the XM Gambit has nicer detail. XM really do well when it comes to like really getting in there and doing exquisite detail in all the little pieces of them. You know, highly textured. But just in terms of being a really dynamic pose and capturing the spirit of Gambit, I think that Sideshow did a much better job. He just looks good from every angle. So many lines of action in him. And that portrait is awesome. Okay guys, so thank you so much for coming along on my collection tour. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me to be able to share my collection with other people, so I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. There'll be lots more coming, and until next time guys, later.